your host, Mimosa,
and co-host Kareem.
Welcome to Sometimes We're Boujee and Sometimes We Hood, to healing, navigating grief. It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembrance. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Sometimes We're Boujee.
Sometimes we hood.
Hey. This is a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength to find and found in remembrance. Happy Mother's Day, everyone, to all of our wonderful mothers and mother-like figures. I want to put that out first. Yes, right. This is not going to be a doom and gloom live on Mother's Day. We're going to do this in remembrance and share some funny stories about our mothers that are in heaven and grandmothers that are in heaven and mother-like figures that have made their transition and moved on. And with that in mind, I'm your host, Mimosa.
This is cousin Kareem. How y'all doing?
Right. And today we will have a special guest come in a little bit later on, and that's Pastor Big Sis George. She's going to be joining us a little bit later on throughout the show. And whether you're, we got a guest today. She's so funny. She's very funny. So, and whether you're in the depths of grief, slowly learning to live with the loss, or supporting someone on their journey, this space is for you, and it's a safe space. Grief is deeply personal, and there's no timeline, there's no rule book. There's no right or wrong way to navigate through it. But through the shared experiences, honest conversations, and moments of reflection, we can find comfort, understanding, and hope. Each episode will dive into the emotions that come with loss, anger, sadness, guilt, acceptance, and talk with some expert survivors and those who have walked the path of grief and grieving. You're not alone in your grief, in your journey. We are in this together, and we move forward, honoring the past while embracing the present. So with that, whether you are missing your mom today or missing your grandma, grieving as a mother, longing to be a mother, or just sitting with complicated feelings about motherhood, this space is for you today. Today, we're going to honor the beauty and the heartbreak that Mother's Day can bring when grief is, part of the story. And whether you're grieving yourself, walking beside someone who is, or just trying to better understand how to show up, this episode is for you. So take a deep breath, find a quiet space, and let's begin this journey toward healing, one conversation at a time. So let's talk, let's heal, and let's remember together. Let's take a deep breath and step into this tender space together. Awesome. So, happy Mother's Day to your wife and the mommy of your children, cousin Kareem.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Thank you.
First and foremost, yes, to our gracious and beautiful host. Appreciate you.
Yes. So, we understand that Mother's Day is can be another one of those difficult holidays to maneuver through when it comes to grieving. And like motherhood is one of like the first relationships most of us have ever known. And whether that is with your birth mother, grandmother, auntie that raised you like a mother, sister that raised you like a mother, it's it's a it's a bond that develops, grows, changes over time. And I can definitely say that motherhood, it changes as you mature, grow and mature, and as your children grow and mature, your motherhood changes. It changes. It the definition of motherhood looks different,
Hmm.
you know. And Mother's Day, of course, it's everywhere. It's on cards, commercials, social media, and it's almost impossible to avoid, not unless you're under a rock somewhere, right? So you cannot, you cannot get away from it. You just cannot. And grief can feel invisible on a day like today. Um, it can feel like the world expects you only to celebrate. It's like the world expects you to be happy. You know, Grief is not something that's supposed to happen on a day like this, or even some other holidays that we'll, approaching. And we'll talk about that when that comes in. So, Kareem, what are your thoughts about motherhood and grieving? And I definitely appreciate you being on the show, Cousin Kareem, because you can give us that male insight that because today is Mother's Day,
Yeah.
your mother has made transition as well. So, from your perspective, like, how are you feeling today?
Uh, right now, I think, I look at the pictures and movie and console comes to mind. Like, just bringing back, was that the right movie? No, it was the other movie. I'm thinking of the wrong movie, but with the Day of the Dead, you just trying to keep the memories alive, like telling the stories, for my kids. I have 5 kids. Only one of them, she held. I say it that way because by the time she passed away, he was 2, and no, he was he was 2. So he didn't know her. She got to know. She at least held him and seen him, smelled him, And I think about those times. I think about just the memories lost. Like I think that's what I know. That's why I said, the selfishness on my part to be like, man, I wish I had more time, for her to meet, but it wasn't for her. But the commercialism of it, I think, commercialization of Mother's Day, I think it's a good thing because everybody should have a mother figure. Doesn't have to be. I think people put too much on. It has to be a mother, and so we get in our minds. We start to say, "Oh, my mom. I wish." But then you have somebody who raised you. Like for your situation, for my situation, my mom was always working, and my grandma raised me. So losing both of them, it's like I started looking outside for other motherly figures. And then I felt guilty at one point, especially like in the church calling somebody, hey, mother, somebody, so and so. When not only did I have a mother, but I had a grandmother. It just didn't feel right in my spirit. So then I just stopped doing it. But I feel like today is a great day for remembrance because a lot of the stuff that's happened in your life or the stuff that you've gotten in your life came through your mom. I mean, yes, we have fathers, but without our mother, we wouldn't be here. And so, like, honoring her outside of just today is a great thing. But to have the one day just to sit back and honor her is a great thing. For me, it's just about the memories, the funny stories, the silliness, and trying to convey that to my kids about her. And then of course celebrating my wife, as
Right.
being a mother of my children. A
Yeah.
whole other subject, but yeah, it's an interesting one. But how do you feel today?
Today is like many, it's a bittersweet day. I'm definitely, missing my mom. I'm missing my grandma, my nana, you know. Um, I'm really missing like a host of women that were
Mm.
mother figures in my life. So if I, like go down the list, you know,
Nah.
it's like my nana, my mother, my aunt Aura, my aunt Hannah, my aunt Glad, you know, um, just a host. I mean, it really is like a host of women that have made their transition and that are mother like figures to me.
Mm.
And when I talk about, or when I mentioned about like my aunt Hannah, okay, she is the one that I would spend my summers in North Carolina with and watching her in the kitchen. So she's the one I learned how to bake
Mm.
and make the desserts today that I know how to make. And eat all, even though I tweak the recipes a little to make them like really my own, but she's
Right.
the one that taught me how to bake. Um, my aunt Glad, she she was comical. Um, she would fuss and cuss you out at the drop of a dime.
Mm.
She was spicy, you know and to see, growing up and to see that in older women, it was as a kid, it was fun. It was fun and amusing. My aunt Sophie, she was just, she was like the epitome of motherhood and being a woman, because she, in North Carolina, she was working the farm, raising her kids, growing her own vegetables, and cooking those good southern meals. um, so and my aunt Chlorine, she was just mean. She was a mean, she she was a mean woman. But she was funny though, you know. So to see the different personalities of these women, like really appreciate who they were while they were here. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Alive, and the memories of who they were, and to be able to laugh about them and like really honor them today. It's bittersweet because I'm missing my boys. I'm missing Deej, and he's here with me in spirit. Darian, I wanted to actually go see Darian, um, but he ended up being in transition. So he
Mm.
was in Nebraska. Now he's in Illinois. Um, and I got to check because he's probably going to move between Illinois and Indianapolis. So, and he moves around. So I was hoping I would, get a chance to see him today, spend some time with him, but it's okay. I know,
It's
but
doing its thing. Yeah.
yes, he's doing his thing working. So I'm very proud of him. And But yeah, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet today. It is. But today, like I said, we're going to honor and pay homage to our, mothers that have made their transition and telling, stories and remembrance of them. So, but before we get into that, I do want to, talk about like the different phases of Mother's Day grief, or the different faces. Um, of course, like I said, you're missing a mother who has transitioned, maybe grieving the loss of a child. And I can say one and two belong to me. Okay. Yes. I'm missing my mom. I'm missing my son who's made his transition as well. I know I have a cousin that lost her son tragically. I have a girlfriend that lost her son tragically. So, and this is actually like their first Mother's Day without their sons.
Oh man, you brought up a, not to cut you off, but you brought up a point when you were asking about the male point of view and about Mother's Day and loss of children.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that before we started this I didn't really think about, but um, miscarriages,
Mm-hmm.
since those happen more than births, since that's the miracle, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of, I know, going through it. I had a miscarriage. Well, I had two miscarriages. So I
Mm-hmm.
say I have 7 children. Two that I just haven't met.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the miscarriage for some women I've talked to. I've been in sales for like 13 years, talking to women about kids. And some women have told me, like, I don't want to attempt to try again because that pain of not going through the whole thing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, of course, you could talk about it more than me, talk to it about it, because you being a woman, but from the male perspective, as the father's perspective, even regardless if you're a husband or a boyfriend, we feel it too, you know, because we were in expectation of a child,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it didn't happen. So then it's like this day, if you haven't gotten to that next step, what I would say is like getting over by having a second child or having a child come to full term.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard thing. And I feel right now for some of the women who maybe haven't gotten to that transition point themselves of saying, I had a miscarriage. I really want to carry full term,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And you know what I mean? It's like you have a death, but how do you, maybe I'm bringing up something too off topic, but is that like the craziest thing to think about? Like I know I have a miscarriage. It's a death, but of course it wasn't, didn't reach full term. Is
Mm-hmm.
it technically? You know what I mean? It's like, is it technically a death?
Yes, it is. It is. And it is difficult for women to deal with
Yeah.
because you're excited when you, as a woman, we are excited to know that we have created or in the process of creating a life where looking forward to taking the developmental journey of the 9 months, technically 10, because it's full term is 40 weeks, 36 to 40 weeks. So that's technically 10 months.
Yeah.
Um, and and depending on where the woman is in her pregnancy journey, when she has a miscarriage or um, the pregnancy ends prematurely, it it can determine on how traumatic and difficult it is to get over it. And you always have a tendency to think about that baby that could have been or would have been. Um, and that's another face of grief, longing for a child that never came. And it's the same when you think about women who want to be mothers and they're going through in vitro, they're going through adoption, they're going through, other routes to become mothers, and it doesn't happen for them. So yes, Mother's Day is difficult. It's difficult for them as well. It is a challenge. It very much so is, because I have another girlfriend um, in my circle, sister friend, who went through that. She went through in vitro and trying to become pregnant and become a mother, and it just didn't happen for her. And she just came to the conclusion, well, it wasn't meant for me to have children.
Yeah.
You know, however, she does find other ways and other things to, other women to honor. She's a great auntie. She's a mother to, other children in her family. So, yeah, and you always have that. Mhm.
Some other way to find joy, to
Yes,
bring you joy.
yes, yes. You have to
I ain't
find
gonna try to sing for y'all. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That was just a little,
it. Yes.
Huh.
And then, another phase of grieving on Mother's Day is about, grieving a mother who was absent, distant, or even hurtful. You know, all mothers are not the best
Equal.
mothers in the world. But
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother conversation. We are not going to touch that today.
No.
Um, and then there's, the feeling of ache of a strained or complicated relationship with a mother or a mother-like figure. So with that, I'm going to, I'm gonna lead into like a funny story. Like my mom, hilarious, two funny stories. So
All right. Then I got mine.
right, okay. So the first one is with my nana, my grandmother, right? And it was the first Mother's Day that we were experiencing without my mother. And I drove to New York with a friend, and my grandmother called me and she was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like,
Excuse
"Oh, just, taking a drive, wanted to get out the house, and, ride around." And she was like, "Oh, okay, mind you, I'm on the Jersey Turnpike when she calls." Okay. So get to the house, go through the gate, go to the back door. The back door was open, and I kind of opened. I knocked on the door. My grandmother was sitting in her favorite chair in the kitchen. She opens the door. She sees me standing in the screen door. She goes, "You lying ass heifer," and slammed the door back. my, my friend that
Oh,
was with me was tickled. He was tickled. He was so tickled. He said, "No, she did not just call you a lying ass heifer." Yes, she did. Yes, she did. So I was like, "Man, open the door." I
yeah.
was like, "Man, open the door." So she finally opened the door. She said, "You didn't tell me you were coming." I said, "No, the point of it was surprise." Surprise. You know, so
Yeah.
I was like, that will always be funny. That
Yeah.
one is always funny to me. And then one with my mom. So my mother came to live with me in North Carolina, and she wanted to go to the beach. And she kept saying she wanted to go to, "I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach." And I was like, "Okay, Ma, now understand, your knees are not that strong. You can barely stand up on dry land. You want to go
Yeah.
so and I said, "Look, when you step into this water, because we were at Carolina Beach, I said, when you step into this water, you're not stepping into like in New York when we go to Jones Beach, there's the inlet. Okay, that Jones Beach is the inlet. That is not the ocean." And I'm like, "Ma, this is the ocean. Um, these are you're stepping into the ocean. It's not an inlet. These waves are rough. They're hard. Oh, I want to go to the okay." So I get her, take my boys. My boys were about 10, 9 and 10 at that time.
Mm.
And we get to the beach, they go flying. And I keep warning my mom, slow down. She's getting her little drink on. I'm like, "Slow down. We out here in this heat and this sun. I need you to, slow down." So she's like, "Okay." So I'm standing. I walk down and, get my feet wet, and I'm standing at the edge. Waves are coming. They're hitting me at the ankles, mid calf, and I'm just standing there and I'm watching the boys. Here she comes. Okay. And I don't know if you all can see, well, not you all can see YouTube and because I have the M&K, but TikTok, y'all can see the photo behind me. That's a portrait of my mom and myself. But anyway, um, she comes down there, walks into the water, stands beside me. This wave comes, hits both of us at the knees. Okay. She goes down. When she probably she probably killed me today if she knew I was telling this story. She goes down. She's rolling in the water and arms flailing, and she's like, ah, ah, ah. Kareem, I just reach over and pick her up by the back of her bathing suit and like stand her up like a rag doll. You know? Just stand her up like a rag doll. And she's steady hollering, and I done walked her back several feet from the, from the shore off the beach. And she's steady hollering. And I was like, Ma, you're not in the water anymore. And she looks around and she's like, oh, okay. I was like, go sit down. Just go sit down. Go sit down because I'm not about to. I'm not doing this today.
Right.
I'm not doing this today at Carolina Beach with you. I am not. Okay. So yeah, that's funny. That was funny. That was hysterical. I'm like, when I think back at that time, I was pretty like, oh my goodness. But yeah.
Why you gotta deal with this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nah, so I had my two stories. First with my mom. Mm-hmm. So what was this? I think it was like 94. Like, beepers were still in there. I mean, cell phones were starting to come into play, but it was like I was living in Newark, and so I was working at the trade centers, and so I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm gonna come through. You need some help with something." I forgot what it was. I need to fix something. Mm-hmm. So I'm paging her, and she's not answering back. So I'm like, "Do I go home across the river to Newark, or do I go out to my mom's house in Queens?" And so I'm like freak out. You know what I mean? I'm still young in my 20s. So I'm thinking, something happened. She ain't answering the pager. So I rush over there. Boom, boom, boom. My man picks me up from the train station from Parsons and Archer. He drives me we speed to my house. Boom, I hop out the car. I put the key in the door lock. Mom, are you okay? You okay? She goes, what's wrong? I'm like, I was paging you. You supposed to be, I just wanted to make sure you were home. You're okay. She goes, wait a minute. Is that what that vibrating box thing was you gave me? I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, it was vibrating. I didn't know what it was doing. So I just put it in the drawer. I go upstairs. She opens up a drawer. She pulls out and it's steady vibrating. I'm like, oh my gosh. I say, Mom, remember I told you when it vibrates, you look at the number, you call the number back. She was like, I forgot, child. Just call the house. You should have just called out. I'm like, oh, if he wasn't home, how am I calling you? And she was just like, anyway, just take it back. I don't need it. I'm thinking I'm helping myself out by helping her out. And she's randomly home or not home when she says she's going to be home because she got to drive everywhere. It's like she used to go from Guy Brewer to Springfield. You can take the side streets, take 15 minutes.
Yes.
Or she could take the highway. My mom had a speeding problem. That's why I have one. She had to get her fix of 80 miles per hour in. Sunday was a good day to do it. The weekend, it's just like, I can't wait these 2 days to get back to Monday. So she would take the long route, which was 22 minutes, just to hop on the highway to get her fix of 80 miles per hour. It was the craziest. But now my grandmother, so it wasn't Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving. It was one of the last things. No, it was the second to last Thanksgiving we had with her. And her knees were bad. She had double knee replacement. And so we're like, Grandma, sit down. We're gonna do all the cooking today. And then she had like a little fever. So we sent her up to her room. So it's like it was like a living room, dining room, kitchen. That's how it went, right? And so the stairs were in the dining room. And so I just happened to go from the living room to the kitchen to go check on stuff. How come I see this woman halfway down the stairs? Her eyes get big, looking at me because she's trying to sneak in the kitchen because she just got to cook. She got to stir something don't smell right. She had to put a grandma touch on it. So I ran back in and told my aunt, they're like, what? Get back upstairs. She's like, I just wanted to check. 3 times this happened. Three times this happened in the next 2 hours. She trying to. It's finally we just sat her down in the living room. She wanted to be around everybody, but it's just funny how you know, as kids we we're curious and we want to do stuff our way. And as you get older, you kind of revert back to that mindset in a sense. Not that like with dementia, not like that, but it's just
Right.
taking care of that person. It's like you're taking care of a child in a sense, and it gets funny in that area.
It
But
does. It does because they're so independent. Grandmothers, mothers, where we become very, independent because we have to. That's we're in our role of being an active mother
yeah,
or active grandmother. You're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of the family, and when you become injured, and someone you have to depend on somebody else to take care of you. You kind of like, I can take care of myself. I can do
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah,
So, you don't know how to sit down, as they say. You don't know how to sit down somewhere and
yeah,
be taken care of. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's funny. I think back like when my grandmother was sick and when my mother was sick, my grandmother definitely had a difficult time adjusting to the family taking care of her. They really did. She really did. She really did. She had a difficult time. And um I mean, she would fuss at us. She'd be wanting to get up. No, sit down. He's like, let somebody take care of you. Let us cook. Let us, clean up. Let us, do things. And yeah, she had a difficult time. She had a difficult time adjusting when she was sick. But yeah, the stories think back, I miss my grandmother. I miss my nana, my nanny. She was definitely the matriarch of the family. Um, Whatever the family needed, you know, Aunt Mildred, grandma cousin Mildred was there. She was there. And she was definitely the rock that really held our family together.
yeah,
And I can say, and again, that's probably a conversation we'll have later on about family and when the matriarchs and patriarchs make their transition and the families kind of tend to spread out and not be so close. But we definitely need to come back to that. We have definitely have to make our way back, but that's another conversation. So with
yeah,
that being said, we're gonna move on to, here's just a couple of things about grieving today. Like, if you are grieving today, missing your mom, grandma, mother like figure, aunties, great aunties, sisters, give yourself permission to feel however you want today. There should be no guilt in feeling how you want to feel. If you want to be angry today, be angry. If you want to be sad, be sad. If you have experience some depression today, that is your right. You have a right to feel that way. And again, nobody can tell you anything different. And you should not feel guilty about feeling the way you feel. This is a judgment free zone. No one should judge you on your feelings. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you don't have to. Um, some people incorporate a ritual. If you have a ritual where you light a candle, look at some old photos, write a letter to your loved one or, the woman that's your mother life figure, then do that. And that will help you. That will definitely help you release whatever you're feeling, whatever sadness that you may be feeling, and it may help you feel better in the long run. And then create space for both sorrow and joy
mm,
without forcing either. Okay? Create space for both sorrow and joy without forcing either. And I'm going to say that again for the people in the back because sometimes people don't understand or they don't know how to create space for sorrow and joy. Well, I think we just did that. We just showed you. Cousin Krim and I, we're sitting here laughing about, funny memories and stories of our mothers, grandmothers. And at the same time, we miss them. We miss them dearly.
Right.
So that's how you create space for both. You laugh, and then if you need to cry, then you cry. Okay. And what do you say? What do you say about that, Kareem? Cousin Kareem, what do you say?
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, like I was saying earlier, like sometimes just the memories I feel keep them alive. I mean, because honestly, think about like the great grandparents. I don't know of them, just their names. I just don't, because nobody really talked about them.
Mm-hmm.
But I got, I had like my grandmother's sister, my Aunt Carlicia.
Mm-hmm.
She was super funny, but she was mean.
Mm.
So we used to joke about her because she would be quick to like she had straight hair, Seminole background, heritage, I should say, but she was dark. I mean, like dark, like what's her name? Grace Jones dark, but she had straight black hair all the way down to her butt. When I was out someplace, we went to the Ave, Jamaica Ave, for y'all who ain't from New York. We went to the Ave and we went up there, and this woman grabbed her hair, and happened to be a white woman.
Oh,
and she dropped her. She dropped her. She turned around, she let go of my hand. Next thing I know, that woman was on the ground. Like, don't you ever touch my hand? Who you think you are? You know what I mean? I think I was like 9 years old. It was just like I never seen a woman fight. It was the first time I seen a woman fight. And then so we get back home and she's telling her sister, my grandmother, about that's my great aunt. She's telling my sister, my grandmother about it. She's like, and she turns to my grandma, turns to me, and says, and you let her beat that woman up. You didn't try to stop her. I'm like, if she did that to a grown woman, what chance do I have? You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm 9 years old for this piece. He's trying to tell me I'm supposed to be like, hey, Aunt Charlie, stop beating up that woman. No, don't do that. No, nah, that's not happening. I would have caught a backhand. I've caught the backhand before trying to throw. Matter of fact,
goodness.
I remember when Kings of Comedy came out, and Bernie Mac was like chopping the throat. My Aunt Charlie, I was the first one in my family out of the cousins who get chopped in the neck. I remember that, and everybody else got chopped for laughing at me. So, we was on the phone after the movie talking about, remember when we all got chopped in the neck?
Right.
And I don't know everybody here, but to get chopped in the neck, that's like the way he reacted. That's exactly how you feel. You can't breathe. You don't know what's going on in your life. You don't know if it's I'm coming to meet you, God. You know what I mean? It's like that memory, but it's just like we laughed about that at her wake. It's all the things that she did. She was mean, but somehow or another, because you survived it, it was funny.
Right, that part. It is, like when we think about the women, the older women in our family that have made their transitions and moved on. You tell the unfiltered truth about them women, some of them being absolutely downright mean.
Yeah.
Mean women, and it was
had a hard life. They had a hard life transitioning.
Oh,
you just caught the brunt of it.
They were some mean women, honey. I know my Aunt Sophie. Now, Aunt Sophie was a sweetheart. My Aunt Corrine, she was mean. I had a cousin, my cousin Judy. She was mean. Oh my God, that woman was mean. My Aunt Hannah wasn't too mean. My Aunt Hannah, she loved her cooking and her baking and chewing her snuff. And don't mistake that Coke bottle and pick up the wrong Coke can. You in trouble. You messed around and drink that snuff. Your stomach gonna be over. That's another story. Speaking of my mother, my my aunt Hannah, being in I want to say we were in North Carolina. And like I said, my aunt Hannah chewed snuff. Now, for those of you who have no idea what snuff is, it's a square about, I don't know, about the size of a brownie, cake packed tobacco. And my aunt Hannah would bite a piece, chew it, and chew on it or suck on it to get the nicotine out the tobacco, because some women didn't smoke. If they wanted to have the nicotine, that's what they did. They chewed snuff or chewed tobacco, and she would have her jar or spit can, and she would spit whatever saliva into the can. And my mother made the mistake of picking up the can and drinking.
Ooh, it must have been a sight to see. Yeah, wish you had a camera phone back then. If we had camera phones back then, because you imagine,
she drank that, and it was her stomach. She looked crazy, and they said she was running for the bathroom. So, well, guys, it looks like our special guest has arrived. I'm going to bring her to the stage.
All right, all right.
Oh, man, you got me feeling real bad, for real. What's up, y'all?
Well, hey, how you doing, man?
Listen, my nieces and them, they made me feel real good. Y'all don't, well, Mimi doesn't know. God bless you, babe. Wait a minute, Boujee. Why Boujee name ain't up there? Kareem.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. You don't see Mimosa?
I haven't had any birthed any children. I just raised everybody else children, right? Yeah. But they took me out, and the little Japanese joint where you like burn people up, baby. I had to be, girl. I forgot I ain't on my live. I had to make sure this wig was intact, boo. It was too much fire.
Well, everybody, welcome. This is Pastor Big Sis George. Welcome. Sometimes we bougie, and sometimes
we hood.
Yes, welcome.
We real ghetto. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for joining us today on our tribute in honor to mothers and mother-like figures. We were, Kareem and I were sharing funny stories about our mothers and grandmothers, and just remembering them and honoring them, and explaining to the audience about ways they can remember their loved ones and bring honor to their loved ones by lighting a candle, writing them a letter, looking back at photos, and being able to have both sorrow and joy today, and not feeling any guilt at all, and in having whatever they're feeling, let them feel it.
Yeah. I blew it this morning, though.
Oh, you blew it?
Yeah, I blew it.
Okay. Why you say that?
I thought I was good. I was not good. I was not good at all.
Okay.
I was real heavy. I was heavier than I was the first year that she passed. Because part of me was feeling so good. And then I said, wow, I don't have a special breakfast. I don't have a special prayer. There's nobody in her room. You know what I'm saying? And that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right. Yes. That's definitely. I said that is definitely overstandable. And as we've had previous conversations about grief and the cycles and the years, and I just said this to someone else, that usually the first year you're still kind of getting through everything. You're still in shock. You're still kind of like processing that the individual's not there. And then the second year is the hardest, is the most difficult, the most challenging year. That second year is.
Yeah. That's where I am.
Mm-hmm.
September will be the second
Right.
year. When it wasn't cool.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they'll give us a play-by-play book.
Tell me about it.
When all of this stuff happened, I'm trying to come in on your other joint. I wish they would have gave us a play-by-play so we will understand a little bit better, you know. And then as I shared with them, and I think we were on my page, and I was saying you and bro, you cracked me up. You was telling some biblical stories. I'm like, you can tell he's been in church for real. But
behind the scenes.
yeah. But that's a whole nother thing when you're a leader or you're in church and then they want to make you super saint. You know what I'm saying? And I had to remind people that is that you, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I had to remind the people that I was a daughter before I was a leader in church. That's my mother. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to make me feel, I don't know what you was trying to make me feel, but you're not going to make me feel as if, you know, I'm going to take this to the Lord in prayer and shadam.
Right.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Nah.
Right.
My mom has been with me. I am 60 years old. My mom been with me to 58 years life. And you're not going to just tell me pray and boof.
Right.
Because Jesus can. That's not even how Jesus worked.
Exactly. Like find that in the Bible. So read that to me. Read that to me, please.
Find it.
Exactly.
They're not going to find it.
Nope. Right. It's like, come on. Yeah, it's funny you should say that, man. Because he said, I don't deal in feelings and emotions, but then they dealing in feelings and emotions as leaders. And it's like, so what book are you following that all of a sudden now you want to address my feelings and emotions to fit your timeline? But even he didn't do that. But now you doing it. Like, what's going on here? Like, it's a funny thing like you should say about like the church too. It's like my ex-wife, I ain't gonna be ashamed to say this, but my first thought was to punch my fist through the back of her throat because on a Mother's Day, I was like, it took me 2 days to get back home. And so when my mother passed away in February, and so when my bad, but so we standing there, Mother's Days come up, 3 months later, 3 months later. And I'm like, hey, can we just do something a little low key for this Mother's Day since my mom just passed? And she was like, forget your mom. I'm a mom too. I was like, oh, see. And it was one of those moments where I punched a hole through the door. And then, that's brother, just go for a drive. And it was like that for me at that point. I already was in the phase of getting a divorce, but that was like, bottom line, I'm getting the paperwork. It's like the next day, Right. But yeah, I believe that some people's empathy in a time of grieving is so out. I don't know the word. I can't put a word on it. It's just how.
Sometimes people could be selfish in how they're feeling about what's in the holidays, And with Mother's Day, a lot of the mothers are like, hey, let's it's almost like who gets when you have a wife and your mom, and it's like, okay, who gets the front seat when you're traveling? Does your wife get in the front seat or does your mother get in the front seat?
Are you married to her with children or you're married to her?
No, I'm married with her children. Yeah, this is my second wife now. Well, that was the first wife back then.
Mother's Day. So you don't slight your mom. And I'm sorry for those on my page. I'm sorry. I can even give you scripture to that, but whatever. You don't slight your mom for your wife. It shouldn't even be no competition there. Right. Because you marry the right person to be like, well, let's honor mom. Because I'm going to honor your mother we're going to honor my mother. We're going to do whatever
Right.
we're going to do if they're not alive. And of course,
Mhm.
if you have children from her as a man, you're going to make sure your children
Honor their
honor
mother.
their mother because she's not your mother.
Mhm.
Right.
I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you because my thing is, what happened to respecting your elder? Like,
Hello.
respect the elder. The elder. The mother is the elder. So the mother would be, you honor the mother or honor the mothers all together. And
Yes.
that's something that, and I didn't even think to ask if they were doing that today. My brain wasn't there. But I have a set of family that they honor on Mother's Day. All the women come together in the family and the men cook and serve the women. Okay.
Yeah.
For Mother's Day. And it's a fun time. It's a fun time. We did it. I went last year and it was funny because the men were there. They were cooking, they were getting things together. And a cousin's husband, he's making some kind of sauce that he couldn't figure it out. And I was kind of telling him what to put in the sauce. And they was like, "You're not supposed to be helping. You're not supposed to be helping." But I was like, "Look, I have to eat this." You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you a story, but after that, I'm gonna tell you a story after that. Go ahead.
I have to eat this, so I'm going to tell him what to put in it. Okay. But so it was hilarious. I mean, and we had a good time. We had a great time in honoring the mothers that were there, the mothers that were not there. We honored them. My Aunt Edith, my Aunt Essie, even though my Aunt Essie didn't have children, but she was like a mother to all of us, honored my Aunt Edna, so we honor every time we come together, we honor those women. 100%. And it feels good, even though, my aunt, myself and my aunts, even though we're grieving, my mother, which is their sister, and my grandmother, which is their mother, even though we're grieving them, but we still went to be with family to honor the others.
Yeah.
And it was just like I said, that's one of those sorrow and joy at the same time.
But I'm glad you mentioned. Go ahead. I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned your auntie, because I'm an auntie mommy to so many people. You know what I mean? And that is the thing I had to share with my family. I had, like I told you, I had a moment and I just really shared my heart with them. And I said, part of the holiday when you don't have children and you're a woman, you feel some type of way too. Society makes you feel some type of way. And I had to be reminded of all of my nieces and nephews and ministries and programs that I had together for young people, and how the Lord allowed me to plant a seed into the life that wasn't just that seed was going to manifest some great things in their life down to come. But I had to also tell them, listen, you may get the title because you birthed a child, but that does not make you a mother.
Ooh.
And
you hear that in the back? You hear that in the back?
What? No, it is. And too many people, they like to make you feel like you're less than because you didn't birth. I'm like, yo, hold up. I done did your job.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? I did your job. All you did was push leave. You partied, you got high, you did your thing. That did not make you a mother. So when Mother's Day come around, don't you dare come up, I'm the mother. No, you birthed it. And you carry a title, but you will never be honored as a mother. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. People don't get mad at me. So I just had to say what I feel.
You don't gotta leave that one alone. We can talk about it.
No, because
we
it's
can
true,
talk about that.
bro.
Look, we would love to talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation on grief.
But it's Mother's Day. But
yeah, wait till we get to Father's Day on that one. Wait till we get to Father's Day on that one.
We don't have time for that.
It's Mother's Day.
Yes, it
And
is.
if you're going to honor somebody, you honor the one who was a mother to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How you going to be a Johnny come late and you want to act like you get the roses and the accolades and you ain't did? Okay, I'm be quiet.
Hey, you
But
speaking
she's
it.
right.
You speaking the
Look,
truth.
bro, come on my live at 8:30. We'll talk about
Right?
it.
We'll talk about it then. We'll be on that one later. We'll take that. We'll do that later. But right now, what I would like to do is there was a poem that I had actually wrote for my mother that I would like to read and share with everyone. And this could be, this poem, it can actually go for any, it's anyone, and it says, "For you are our mother." That's the title. Before we came into this world as your baby girl and baby boy, we watched you from the staircase in the heavens above. From a child yourself to a grown woman you become. We chose you to be our mother. Then here we came. Your life has not been a crystal stair or a bed of roses with a fancy flair. You were not born with a silver spoon in your mouth or wealth that one could count. But what makes you the best is that you passed the test, loving us with all your heart, giving us strength, unbroken and hard as a rock, teaching us life lessons from the heart we will never forget, giving us knowledge, an untouchable force field set from the start. For you are our mother, your love unspeakable, giving us your all unconditionally. From you we came, we are the image of you, full of love, kindness, and generosity passed down from the spirit of you. Your pain and sorrow, we wish we could wash away. With love, we love you dearly, as a daughter and son can do. For you are our mother. We are the image of you. So I wrote that poem
Beautiful.
for my mother. I actually had wrote that as a thank you, as a birthday gift to her, and I actually put it in her obituary. So that is a published piece. Um, that is a published piece, and um, so I know it can't go anywhere.
So, in other words, don't steal it.
Basically.
Feel it.
Yeah. We'll find you. We'll find you if you do. So,
Right. You can't. You cannot. It's published. It's a published piece.
yeah.
So right. So with that being said, any closing remarks or comments before we take off out of here?
Go ahead, man. I'll let you go first.
Come on, Pastor Dixon George. Yes, come on.
I just want to say again, I apologize for being late. And if I wanted to add to anything during this time, for those of you who are grieving your mother, whomever that may be, I'll be nice because she may not be the one that birthed you, but she was the one that was always there when you had a cold. She was the one that rubbed you down with this, that mother. Um, Go ahead and grieve as long as it takes you. Don't let nobody tell you that there's a time and how you should. Let that be your time. Hit every bump you need to. Love on your mother because you only get one. And when she's gone, she's not replaceable. You know what I mean? And I live in the house, y'all, with my mother. I was her caregiver, so I lived in the house with her. Everywhere I go, my mother is here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I gotta learn to live a still productive and healthy life, even though she is no longer here with me. Don't fall apart. Get a sign into rooms like this. Lock in with people that are telling you to go ahead. It's all right to grieve. You're gonna grow if you grieve right.
Exactly. All right. Cousin Kareem, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I'm a man of technique. And I think technique trumps any kind of talent or act that you have. And in my technique in grieving is thankfulness. Mm-hmm. Like when I look at myself as far as adapt and overcome, it's a Marine thing. My mother wasn't a Marine, but she could have been one with all the stuff that she overcame and adapted to. And so I look at that. I look at the pain and struggle she went through, and I thank her for it almost every day now. Like when I'm thinking of things that I have to deal with, when I don't fully snap on people, when I hold back, mm-hmm. and I say, oh, thank you, Mom. You taught me how to be humble instead of, putting hands on people. And so it's like those little lessons that she taught me. I see them now as I'm older. When I was young, I didn't see it. But as I'm older now, I see it. And I thank her for it because I hear her voice. And so my beginning part of the technique is thankfulness. That I learned the lessons hard, but I learned them. And yeah, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here right now, literally. Yeah, that's why I'm living in Hawaii. Gotcha. But yeah, that's all I got. Love you, Mom. Forever,
Yes. All right. So I want to say happy Mother's Day again to all of the mothers and mother-like figures. And that's, grandmas, aunties, great aunties, sisters, best friends. And thank you for joining us today on this journey through grief, healing, and remembrance. Grief is not something we simply just get over. It is something we learn to carry. It's something that shapes us and something that teaches us about love and resilience. As you move through your own process, remember to be patient with yourself. There's no timeline, no right way, no wrong way to grieve. Honor your feelings, embrace the memories, and allow yourself space to heal in your own time. Grief and love are woven into the same thread, and both deserve to be honored. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out, share your stories, comments, and let us know how grief has shaped your journey. And if you know someone who might need this conversation, please share this episode with them. When it comes to social media, of course, there is Sometimes We're Boujee, Sometimes We Hood, the Facebook page. On Instagram is SBSH Grief. On TikTok, Sometimes We Boujee, Sometimes We Hood. And of course, you can always reach out to us via DM. And until the next time, be kind to yourself, hold space for your emotions, and remember, you are never, ever alone in this journey. The love you carry still matters, and it always will. So take a deep breath. And again, happy Mother's Day to all, and take care.
Yes, indeed.
It's a podcast dedicated to exploring the complex emotions of loss, the road to healing, and the strength found in remembering.